give them that much of an edge. The team fight, the overgrowth is just still too much from Orenda, and I feel like the draft is just far superior. Like you said, Huskar, he can do some things, but he can't do everything, and right now, the fact that he's only sitting on like 6,300 net worth, it doesn't feel like it was the best pick.
And comes Lifesteal with the double damager, and he gets landed to the high ground, and down comes the hammer from OD. He's bringing a lot of those guys very low on Speed Gaming side still, and he just picked up by the Invoker. And we'll see, OD, he's just going to town. Huskar low on health, he's so close to dying. Armlet buying him a little bit more time, not enough time. As he eventually falls, they're going to pop the Aegis on the Invoker from the look of things. And will they be able to follow it up? It's going to be a 3v3 fight once again. Invoker use some Ghost Walk, and I saw a gem on the Tramp Protector, but he's dead and the gem's not with him anymore. They're going to go after Lifestealer, and he has the gem on him. It looks like he may not be able to survive this. He has the armlet. Oh,
That armlet.
it's enough. Look at that. 1,000 gold. Now in the pockets of Rubik of all heroes. So I guess that was actually not too bad for Speed Gaming. They did lose the Aegis, but they killed both of the carries on Orenda, and I believe they got the Tramp Protector, and I think Witch Doctor survived in that engagement though.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult in this position. They still get the roast, they still get the Aegis, and they can walk away with, well, obviously they don't walk away with the Aegis since MY did drop down, but it's just, where is their game plan from here? Mid to late game, I just don't see it compared to the tri-core of Orenda. The fact that OD puts out pure damage against Huskar, the fact that Viper has the Nether Toxin, which is essentially an execute of physical damage, and then the Lifestealer has Feast against a high HP target. It's like their team was crafted to deal with this threat, and as such, it's just not really working out for them so far. All their hopes are on Huskar getting a lot of right clicks off in a fight, and so far he's been, if not the first target, then the second. And on that note, I'd like to say they just really need to commend whoever's been calling the shots for these fights, because they always, like, they look at an Invoker with an Aegis and they're like, oh, just imprison him, ignore him.
They're gonna get the Viper Strike onto Huskar, and they get a nice bounce as well with the cast. Hey, yeah, they're just going to town on Huskar. He tries to get a leap off, and he gets the Tramp Protector, but he's still A-okay. They get the Wraith King behind that as well. They commit a decent amount to that, but really, totally worth it.
I mean, they know who to target, they know who to bring down, and they obviously are coordinating on a very high level to be able to make sure that they focus it. Now some rotation TPs, making sure the Forward Spirit push isn't too extensive, same thing with the Necronomicons, but another note to go into is Wraith King pickup of the Blade Mail. A lot of times Blade Mail is most useful when you have a lot of incidental damage flying out. You have like an epicenter going on or things along that line. But what he's up against is a Death Ward, which just is completely immune to Blade Mail's reflection. And otherwise maybe just the OD's ultimate. Yeah, if OD popped his ulti without BKB up, that would be a problem. But since he's got BKB, Witch Doctor's got the Death Ward, that Blade Mail seems to be inefficient compared to an item like Blink.
I'm looking back on the draft. I believe Huskar was their last hero picked. Yeah. It was the last hero picked against Orenda's lineup.
Viper was the only one that wasn't on the board when Huskar was selected.
And I mean, even though Viper has done decently well against Huskar, I mean, I'd still be kind of apprehensive against the Lifestealer, which just brings a lot of right click, and I guess against the OD it's fine, because, you know, Sanity's Eclipse is just magic damage. Well, we have this 3-man smoke from Speed Gaming. I don't know what they're going to find, though. Everybody from Orenda, they're near the tier 2 in the mid lane. They're going to use a Fireflight. Maybe they can catch out somebody. They decide to back off.
The mid lane, and I think Batrider, no, he'll be pretty quick on the blink if he sees him coming, so it shouldn't be an issue. They'll see the Firefly and they know kind of what's up.
Yeah, look at that. Speed Gaming, they're all moving back. Look at how defensive they've gotten. They're up to the tier 3s, and looking at it, they only have one tier 2 tower left. Orenda still has all of their tier 2 towers, and they're pretty healthy as well. I kind of wish this Tramp Protector would be using a living armor a bit more, keeping them topped off. But other than that, yeah, they're in good positioning. Both teams, they wanted to get the jump, and neither of them really found anything.
Gonna be healing up the mid right now, and yeah, they're in just such a good position right now. They've got the Aghanim Scepter, almost BKB up on Viper. Gonna be a very real threat. They've always wanted to commit the lasso to the OD because he probably makes the most contribution, especially when that Scythe is completed. But even still, this Viper is gonna be a very real threat on top of that. And like I was talking about the draft, the main way to deal with a lifestealer is with that lasso. So now there's 3 targets, you've got 1 lasso, you take 1 out, good for you. You still get completely demolished by the other 2. And in this position, they just don't have room for error whatsoever. We're going to see a TP response towards the bottom lane as the Necro Forge pushes once again, but as you mentioned, the Living Armor is just going to keep those things up. There's not enough initial, like, burst damage to bring down the towers. They do it sustained, they do it as a slow siege, but it is insufficient next to what the Treant Protector brings to counteract.
Yeah. Well, there's a few members of Speed. Oh, they're going to blink in and can they
Oh,
get the
that
lasso?
cast!
Oh, what a cast! He's
配信できてんのかな?
just forced the 4-step away. Lifestealer is actually pretty darn fast thanks to the Sanj and Yasha combo with the phase boots.
俺が再生ページ
So, a bit low on health, but he can just heal himself up
され
just
てんのかな
fine.
これ
We'll have everybody healing him up as well. So he's A-okay. The entire Horrendous squad, well, almost the entire squad, they're heading down that bottom lane. I think it's a good time for them to grab that final tier 2 tower because even if you're Speed Gaming, I don't really think you can fight on that tier 2 tower. At the most, you could hope for a trade, but I'm not seeing it.
I don't know, man. This is a situation. I mean, the gold graphs and experience graphs don't say much, but I just don't think that there's any easy out for Speed Gaming at this stage. Like, the pickoff on Lifestealer there might have started something very nice. They do have a lot of mobility on this Batrider to pull people out of position, and we've seen that just by itself win a lot of games, but at this point, they need some amazing spell steals from the Rubik onto maybe the Treant Protector, get an Overgrowth steal, or a Witch Doctor's Death Ward at the least. It's a channeled spell, for Christ's sake. But now we see the Firefly up. We'll see if they can make something out of it.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Viper Strike once again onto the Wraith King, and Lifesteal actually scouts out the Batrider. He's almost baiting at this point, saying, hey, pick me.